The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Straight ahead on this edition of Perspectives, we talk about Mayor Bill de Blasio and his taking office. How's it been in his first few weeks? And then we go across the bridge to Bridgegate, Governor Chris Christie scandal. That's the topic of discussion coming up next on this edition of Perspectives with yours truly, Darren Jaime.
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life. What's your perspective?
And hello again, and welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I am Darren Jaime, and of course, we invite you to stay connected to Perspectives. You can watch us every week live on television, or you can stay socially connected to us on our Facebook and Twitter sites, where you can find out more episodes about Perspectives, some of our previous guests, what's happening in the future. But most of all, we want an opportunity to have you share your comments with us. So please tune into any one of our social networking sites, and we'll be glad to communicate with you and share our perspective with you, but more importantly, yours with us. Well, as we said, taking front and center on this edition of Perspectives, we're talking about New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio in just a few seconds. He's actually just come in and done a few things already. Assumed the mayor's position in City Hall, Gracie Mansion, and topics of discussion already swirling. Across the bridge in New Jersey, Governor Chris Christie and the Bridgegate scandal surrounding Fort Lee, New Jersey. What's the governor's political future? How is it affecting him presently? Well, here to discuss all of that is our friend and our sister, Ms. Joyce Johnson, who's a political analyst, and she's here to share a little bit more and give us her perspective. And Joyce, good to have you.
Thank you. Good to be here again.
Well, let's talk here in our home state first, and then we'll go across the bridge in a few seconds.
That's right, because I'm a New Yorker.
That's right. We're all New Yorkers. That's right. So let's talk about New York for a moment. New mayor, Bill de Blasio. A lot of people were optimistic, saying that Mr. de Blasio is going to deal with the tale of two cities, mending the two cities into one. So far, making several changes in his cabinet and his administration. Do you like what you see so far?
I do. I think he's doing a fine job, and let's be clear and fair. He is now just 15 days into the first 365, and that's just 1/4 of his term. So the short answer is I think he is doing a good job. He's starting off. It's like any new job that we've all taken. You've got to learn where your office is. You've got to staff up. But this is a huge town. The budget, almost $80 billion. Hundreds of thousands of employees, senior staff, hundreds, department heads, and all of that. So I think he's doing a fine job. A lot of folks said, well, you know, he doesn't have everybody in place. You don't need to have everyone in place. He is being very thoughtful about who he hires, which I think is a good thing. You just don't want to go and hire your good friends and compadres from old and new. You want to hire folks who can do the job, and I think he is doing that. I'm happy with his appointment of chancellor.
Okay.
For one, and a few others. I am particularly interested in public education.
Well, let's walk through this for a few seconds. Let's talk about the police commissioner spot.
Yes.
He decides to go get Chief Bratton. Obviously, for those people who are opponents of stop and frisk, it was a hair-raising experience, because here you are with the initiator of stop and frisk. Are we getting a little mixed message here with the bringing in of Mr. Bratton?
Well, I'm going to not use stop and frisk. I'm going to use the good policing and probable cause, which has always been a part of good policing. Keep down crime. Find those who are. who are likely criminals or law offenders, and given probable cause, stop them, search them to make sure that they are okay or whatever. What the Bloomberg administration did, and Kelly in particular did, took what is normal good police practices to a state of lock everybody up, throw them against the wall, stop and frisk, no probable cause, but just do it. All under the banner of this will, if you grab everybody, then we're going to get everybody who is wrong. And the statistics of 6% or less of those who were of the 500,000 and better who were stopped and frisked, only 6% ended up being folks who there was some reasonable cause. That was no good cause to assault an entire community, assault New Yorkers, 5 boroughs, assault disproportionately black and Latin, male, female. So, yes, the architect of that was Bill Bratton during his tenure. Now he works for a mayor that says that everything that I'm described is not the way we want to do good policing. And I'll bet my last dollar, and that's about all I have, that his administration will be absolutely in tune with good police practices. He reports to and works for Bill de Blasio.
One of the things that the mayor is speaking out on is this issue of universal pre-K.
Yeah.
We heard the governor mention it in his State of the State address, talking about seeing universal pre-K. They have a commonality where both of them want to see universal pre-K. But we know that there's a possibility that things can get different.
In politics, you can almost bet on it. The difference is, it's not cutting hairs, but the difference is significant in terms of there are a bunch of things we want to do and we know right to do. I think universally educators, political folks want to invest in our future, and our future are in our children and their education, because what is it? It makes this New York City whole. It gives us the workforce that we need to be number one. But how do you pay for it? That's where we start to, we waltz down the road and then we go our separate ways at some juncture. Bill de Blasio is saying that, for that investment in our future, the wealthiest who make over $500,000 a year should be taxed 3 to 4%. I quite agree with that. The governor is not willing to do that because he's talking about a general tax cut, which, we also agree with. But in principle, I think we've got to get to, and this is a principal position that I think to Bill de Blasio, universal pre-K, a law was passed 15 years ago in the legislature mandating universal pre-K. What did not follow with that mandate and that law was the necessary funds. So for 15 years, we have, on our good principle, we've shortchanged our kids. Our educational system is not what it should. Every good educator agrees that extended day, extended year, and certainly early pre-K is an important factor in getting our kids prepared for what is their future and our better economy.
When you look at universal pre-K, what do you think are going to be the big the big stop? Is it going to be the funding issue? Do you think it's going to be the big...
It's always going to be the funding, because everybody loves it. Everybody knows its value. And here's where Bill de Blasio's point about a tale of two cities. We all have the same values, but then you've got to put your money where your values are. And it's not only just values. Some want to say progressive, whatever. It is not progressive. It is what we need. We are in this country. We were 25 years ago #1 in education. So this is not an issue just in New York City. This is an issue for education in general. We're now 20 in the world. Under industrialized countries are farther ahead than we are. We will lose our economic value and importance. The education, the portal to which all things become possible. including a good economy, including, technology and science and all of that, a skilled workforce. My background is human resources. We always said human resources are your most important resource. On the educational spectrum, it is early pre-K, extended day. We've got to close that gap where the United States is no longer #1 in education.
Come back and talk more with Joyce, and after we come back after the break, we're going to go across the bridge, talk about the Governor Chris Christie Bridgegate scandal. We'll be right back in a few.
Hi, this is Jeff Fox for 107.5 WVLS, and when I get off the radio, I check out my man, the Dr. Bob Lee. It's open on BronxNet. I never miss it.
My name's Brandon. I'm 9 years old, being alcoholic.
Hi, Brandon.
I'll start drinking with the older kids. And whatever they do, I'll do.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
I know it'll start with alcohol. I'm just not sure how it's gonna end.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
Welcome back here to Perspectives. From September the 9th through the 13th of the year 2013, 2 Governor Christie appointed officials at the Port Authority ordered a particular Fort Lee entrance shut down, unexpectedly reducing from the 3 lanes down to 1. And the motives of the actions remain unclear, but to this day, we do know this, that Governor Christie has acknowledged that it came from his administration, has fired his chief of staff, fired at least 2 individuals, and promises transparency in the situation that is now known as Bridgegate. The question is, how authentic is Governor Christie when he comes to talking about Bridgegate? Number 2, the other question is he or are the ones who've been fired the only ones really culpable in the matter? And so now we turn to Joyce. Hard questions, real answers.
Not so hard, and not the questions that we haven't seen before too often. A seemingly not so innocent, but small potatoes kind of event sort of spirals into a gate, a Watergate, Clinton Gate, and all the other gates. But the jury's still out. Personally, I do not believe that this was. I do not believe that this was single-handedly a staffer going off the ranch, having employed people at the highest level, and with it at that level, and particularly when the margin of error is so short. Any small mistake. So Governor Christie is very calculating. He's a federal prosecutor. He knows the right words and language and orchestrating. He is very, I would bet my last, no, I already bet my last dollar. Yeah, I've done that.
The one that
so
you're
now
ready
I'm
to borrow
broke.
from somebody else,
I'm borrow from somebody else. But no, I think You know, it is early in this. I think the investigations are going on, and I think properly. You know, the simplistic answer is, oh, yeah, they did, and I've now fired them. There's always the fall person. I think we have fall people on our hands, and I don't
namely
think...
his aides who he fired.
Namely his aides who he just fired, who he obviously had the sincere confidence in for many, many years to have them at that level. And all of a sudden, he doesn't have a clue of why they did what they did without authorization. And the leader, the manager, the boss, in this case the governor, sets a tone. So, you know, I'm an old PR person, I'm an old personnel person. You set a tone in your administration, and your lieutenants and sergeants act out that. You know, the buck stops at the top. And
but he did a lot of talking in his state of the state.
Too much talking. No, he did a lot of talking in his state of the state. What he did was, you know, immediately said, you know, we've done wrong, we're going to repair it. You know, things are under investigation, but I can assure you that there's nothing to this matter. And then he goes into the business of the state of the state. When he had his press conference, where he talked for an hour and over 70 minutes or something, here's a Chris Christie who is short on words, quick on you know, firing guns. Will tell you, you know, that's not your business, that kind of stuff
quick
guy.
Soundbite, right?
Quick soundbite to someone who then becomes curiously loquacious. That means wordy. He was talking over and over and over again, saying the same thing. And I watched him, I'm saying, wow, is this the same Chris Christie that, you know, we've known for now 4 years? Is this the same Christie that went out on a limb for Obama? You think it was, I did the right thing. Was that also calculated? I don't know. There's just, there's a tale of two governors here.
A tale of two governors. Very suspicious to you.
It is. Like Watergate. I remember Watergate and a few other gates. I won't name the others because close friends were involved. Mm-hmm. But things, you know, what do they say? It comes out in the wash. Mm-hmm. The longer, you know, it spins, it comes out. And I think more will be coming out. So let's stay tuned. But I'm betting that it is a nasty piece of business, filled with intrigue, and you know, the intended target may not be who it was, but it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. The effect of it was that it affected the residents of both New York and New Jersey, their lives for those 4 days.
Let me ask this question about public perception, because you have this public perception that all elected officials are just corrupt and nobody wants to be involved in the political process for incidents such as these. Do you feel like this will further hinder people from possibly even going to the voting booth?
Oh my gosh, Darren, 20% of the short answer for me is yes. The short answer, when the public trusts, you know, it is no coincidence. This is not in New York City. This is universally now. We did this great democracy. We vote less than anyone in the emerging democracies. So yes, public trust is like they all are. You know, I've run for office several times, and I tell you, I've spent more time defending, you know, the fact that I'm running and defending against you're like all the rest. And that is very telling, because what it does is folks are standing, you know, off to the side, not voting when every vote does matter, not engaging in what is their civic duty, being a part. And so we have to, I always say to people, we have to be very careful of who we're hiring. So the public trust has been much eroded, certainly has in the last several years, with our assembly members, state senators, council members in New York City, governor, you know, being put out of office, turned out, resigning, and all of that. So 20% of the vote people going to the poll, that's saying that the rest of them do think that this system called politics is flawed.
With regards to Governor Christie, 2016, of course, hangs in the loom, in the balance. How much do you think this plays a part in 2016?
We have a short, you know, memory. Folks do. That's the one thing. He's going to ride it out. Now, if it comes, like I'm suggesting, it's going to be more than, because Nixon thought, we're going to get through Watergate, those punks that, busted in the Democratic headquarters is going to go away. It did not go away. The investigation, it became much larger than that act, but a whole, cover-up. So it all depends on how far this goes and what is found.
Going to take a quick break and get back some more final comments from Joyce Johnson when we return right after this. We'll be right back.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
I don't know what's happening. Start a new chat. What did I do? Okay. Wow. It's so weird.
Hey! Hi!
Oh my gosh. Hi! God, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm so nervous. Gia, you're so big. Come closer to the camera. Wait, now you're in my face. That was so good.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything...
It is I, Cruz Zinkelpel. Okay, time for cake.
It's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Guru. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And Shelter Pets makes super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a Shelter Pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Back here on Perspectives, Darren Jaime here with you. We're continuing our conversation with political analyst Joyce Johnson and sharing a little bit about what's happened in New York City with Mayor de Blasio, Governor Christie. I want to switch gears because there's a whole lot of other things going on politically here in New York. You got a new public advocate, speaker, city council speaker.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on here. Let me ask this question too. Politically, all these Democrats, good for the city, bad for the city?
Good for the city if we govern well, if we meet the expectations that everyone promised. And I think it's not Democrats, but I do, because I'm a Democrat. And I believe our philosophy of governance, I believe our regard for all the people sort of sets us apart from what is typically Republican in notion. I think we are inclusive, so not just big business and, catering to one side or another. And I do believe this piece about the Tale of Two Cities is real. And I think in our heart of hearts, Democrats want to address this and correct it for the greater good of all New York. So I think it is good. But let's be clear as well. There is tension amongst Democrats. There is the mayor, the new speaker, who is from a very progressive caucus. They may call it the far left. There are others who may be, council members who are more moderate to conservative. And so there's the public advocate who's a lioness in terms of righting wrongs. And so it's going to be very, very interesting. But I do believe that 80% we're on the same page. But the bottom line will be for everyone, will we achieve the results that the public is expecting and we've all promised? That's going to be the A grade. But I do believe the Democrats are on the right path.
But the question is going to remain, though, will we be able to see, for instance, Mayor Bloomberg was very well known for addressing quality of life issues, much to the public's chagrin at times, because they felt like he was too much in the business of telling me how to live. Will we see Mayor de Blasio take on some quality of life issues?
Well, the quality of life issues that we're complaining about, banning smoking, I thought that was terrible. But now I'm happy not to be in a restaurant with smoke, you know, a secondhand smoke. The soda, like, wow, are you playing daddy? But the reality of sugar is not good for anybody. Leads to obesity, hypertension. So I do not know. Bill de Blasio is his own person. Quality of life, absolutely, because I certainly expect a high quality of life. You know, Mayor Bloomberg did a lot with the environment, bike lanes and all of that. I'm saying, this is too intrusive. But in fact, it's really a good thing. Mm-hmm. You know, give folks the opportunity to do those things that have become healthy. Right. So I do believe that the greater good, any person who aspires to this job and is taking on this job must look at that as well. Bill de Blasio will find his pieces of business like that, all for the greater good.
I think so, because when I think about walking into a place and then I look up and I see the illuminated sign that says, oh yeah, you know how many calories there is, I do a second look.
So do I. What we were, you know, I don't want this, it's too invasive. I mean, when you really think of it, everything is. I mean, that's the same problem the president's having with the health care. Mm-hmm. We all want universal health care. And now it's like, well, he's rushing this down our throats and we don't want it. In days to come, because our economy can also not afford, you know, to have folks who are not under a health care system, so that when they go to the emergency room, overburden the system and can't pay, and then who pays? The taxpayers. So we always go kicking and screaming. That's why I love great public servants who have a vision. So I'm always looking for the visionary. I may not always, and we generally don't agree the first time around, but the visionary takes us there. John F. Kennedy did. LBJ did with the Great Society, and on and on. So in New York, we have our same guys, Bill de Blasio.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Joyce Johnson, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us here on Perspectives.
My pleasure.
As always, we will bring you back, and you'll give more of a political analyst.
I look forward to it.
All righty. Joyce Johnson, our guest here on Perspectives. We thank her for joining us, and we thank you for joining us. Now, we want to tell you again, continue to share your perspective with us on our social networking sites. We are on Facebook and Twitter. You can let us know exactly what you think about the show. Even if you have a question that you have, or even a possible or potential guest that we have not yet ventured to see. If you want to see somebody on the show, just let us know, and we'll see what we can do for you. In the interim, we tell you, stay safe, share your perspective with somebody else. It just might make a difference in their life. Darren Jaime signing off and saying take care, and God bless.
Many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light, cause it might make a difference in someone else's life. What's your perspective? Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective. What's your perspective? Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables to speak on your decisions, cause in the long run,
Live with a human for a while, and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she does strange tricks for no treats. But the one thing I will never, for the life of me, know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie,